Does everybody follow that? Okay. This is why the dollar's dropping. It's change. It's time for change. And it's a good thing because any corrupt system does eventually collapse on itself. There's also a possibility that by the end of the year, and it could be triggered by this financial crisis, that the President of the United States, whether it's Gore or whoever it's going to be, will declare a state of emergency. Now, how many are you familiar with Executive Order 11490, signed by Richard Nixon in 1972? Okay, it was a list of 23 executive orders which essentially say that in a declared national emergency they can suspend the Constitution up to 5 years, and they send Congress home for 6 months. Okay? The scary thing is it doesn't necessarily state in the law, in the executive order, what the national emergency has to be. All he has to do is declare it. And they've also divided, now Jimmy Carter took that executive order, and that in turn, when he signed that, he gave all regulatory power under these executive orders to FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Act. FEMA then created a program, which is now law, which was signed by George Bush, separating the United States into 10 federal regions. So the plan possibly is to suspend the Constitution and then to split the states up into federal regions so that we can all come back together, and the United States of America, as we know, will cease to exist unless the people rebel and take it back. Yes. Yes. I think they've grossly underestimated the people. Now, in 1992, Bill Clinton signed another executive order recognizing the UN Charter as the law of the land. Technically, we no longer have the Constitution as the abiding law of the land. In 1992, it became the United Nations Charter, which is why the United Nations is sending our troops and dictating where our military troops go. It's because of this action. So there's a lot going on. And all of this is being manipulated by the extraterrestrials. They want to take control. They want to implant everyone. Because if they implant you, it's a sign of ownership. It's a stamp of ownership. The implant is. The other races don't have implants. You know, the government's trying to feed people the fact that we have to blend with the Greys in order to move into a higher dimension, to evolve. I've even heard this in UFO circles. It's absolutely ludicrous. All the other human races are doing it without becoming part of an alien race unplanned. Now, are there any more questions on this before I change the subject? Yes, sir.
Planet Earth there, when was that born into existence now?
Planet Earth?
Yeah.
Planet Earth
Why?
is 7.1 billion years old, according to them. That's when it became a physical mass. Okay? It actually started, I don't know, about 640 billion years ago with a gas, starting to form as gas in particles. And it took this amount of time before it became physical mass.
Was this designed this way, or just happened random, or?
It happened randomly, but a lot of the genetic life forms, plant life, sea life, human life, primate life, a lot of that was brought here. It was also brought to Mars. Apparently Mars and Earth were almost identical 70 million years ago. But Mars went through a huge catastrophe 69 million years ago, and even went through another war 1 million years ago. The ruins on Mars and all that, some of them are 65, 70, 80, 100 million years old. The space and all that is at least 1 million years old. Now, according to the Andromedans, the face belongs to a group of Orions. That complex was built by Orions. The pyramids were built by Orions.